In the verse, what's up, is Brandy 619. So I do kind of want to set the record straight a little bit because I was over on Ikamel's channel and I was watching the video regarding the Quawan Charles case. Quawan Bobby Charles, the young man that was found face down in some water in the sugarcane field, and I made a comment where I said I think that he probably did get high with that the lady and her son, and again, just from the response that the mom was giving in that taped call, in conversation with the caller, you know, maybe it had her reels spinning or thinking like, wow, this boy get high with these people and get out there and get, you know what I'm saying? And the reason why I say that, so what happened is someone responded and said, you know, just because he's a black kid doesn't mean he's used to getting in trouble. I think the mom's response was just because she was shocked and hurt and all that kind of stuff, and I agree with that. A good parent, you know, the one that needs to be questioned is the lady who had her son and let him walk off without making sure he got home safe and right? So let's be clear. Let's be very, very clear and very, very transparent about the situation. Most of the time, when kids are with their friends, they will experiment. They will do things with those friends that they generally would not do in their parents' face. Things that they would not want their parents to even know. So a lot of times things happen when kids go over to sleepovers, or while parents are at work, or, you know, whatever the case, they may have a few hours to get it together before the parents get back to the house. You know what I'm saying? They may have time to take a little nap or something like that and get themselves back in the way that they need to be, so that their parents are not suspicious of any behaviors or anything like that. Now, me making that statement was based off of that. It had absolutely nothing to do with the color of this young man's skin. It had to do with him being a kid, him being a teenager. He was 15. So if he left out of that house with these people and went over there and they was all getting loaded, they may have asked him if he wanted a piece of a mushroom or something. They may have asked him if he wanted to smoke some weed. They may have asked him if he wanted to have some drink. They may have asked him any of that. And being a young 15-year-old boy, impressionable, in a new town, okay, because let us not forget that he moved from his mom to live with his dad. So that could be something in and of itself. Maybe he was getting at that age where he may have been getting a little bit of rebellious, or maybe he was getting a little smart mouth, and she was like, here, you go ahead and go live with your daddy. Or maybe he was just at that age where they may have felt like it's time for him to go live with his daddy, so his daddy can teach him how to be a man. Okay? We also know that the young boy's room was locked. They stated that the boy's room was locked when the dad went to go knock on the door and wake him up, that the door was locked. Now, what I will tell you is that in my house, ain't no locked doors in my house. The only room that's going to be locked is going to be the bathroom while you're using the restroom, taking a shower, something like that. Your bedroom door is not about to be locked in my house. Now, I don't know how that works in nobody else's house, but that is the rule for my house. For me and my husband, that is the rule. You ain't locking no doors up in here. Okay? So he needed privacy of some sort. He was locking his door, used to locking his door, whatever the case was. You know, privacy for what? You know, that's just my opinion. When the mom was on the phone with the caller, here again, it's just my opinion. When that lady was telling me what she was telling me, I would have gladly let her speak and get it all out. But as soon as she got done and I felt like she was going around in circles or saying the same thing twice, I would have been in that ass. I would have been asking all the questions. So your son's name is what? So how old is your son? So when was the last time that your son saw those people? And did your son see my son with them at that time too? So you saying that your son didn't see my son getting loaded or getting high? Did my son appear to be paranoid or ready to leave or something like that? How come my son didn't leave when your son left? What time did your son leave? I would have had all kinds of questions, okay? I would have wanted to know every little bit about that situation. So you said your son went back to the house the next day to smoke a cigarette, and they said don't get in the car because we bleached the car down. So, did the car look like it had bleach stains in it, or did it smell like bleach in there? You went to light a cigarette. Did you smell bleach? Was it, did you ask, wow, why it smell like bleach in here? I would have been asking 1,001 questions to try to find out and try to narrow some stuff down and find out what was happening or what had happened with my son on that day. Okay, so yes, she probably was smart for recording it and giving it to the investigators. But at that point, if I have lack of confidence in the police department, because when I told y'all he was missing, y'all didn't issue no Amber Alert. I guess because he wasn't abducted. But this is my thing. This is another thing. Anytime a parent says, hey, my child is missing, an Amber Alert should be thrown out there anyway. Or something needs to be sent to the news. It needs to go, newsflash. Little boy missing, parents looking for him since something. Anybody with any information, please call and let us know. They could have got to that boy a long time ago. Another thing I want to know is, when they pinged his phone and they found him off over there in that little pond or whatever it was, some rainwater or something, a little hole or something like that, did they not have search warrants in order to get the records from that mom and the boy, the 17-year-old boy that he was with? Since they were the last people who was with him before he was found over there in that little puddle, to see if their phones pinged in the same general vicinity or area that his phone pinged. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, the response for me, the mom just didn't have the response that I would. I don't know. And I'm just saying, a lot of times parents always, and this was another thing that the person that responded to my comment said, parents said he was a good kid. Well, most of us say that our kids are good kids and that he stays to himself. Most of us, my kids, I could say are good kids and they stay to themselves because they very rarely ever go anywhere. I have some teenage kids. I have, as a matter of fact, I have 25-year-old, 22-year-old, 17-year-old, 14-year-old, 7-year-old, 3-year-old. Okay? So I have children all across the age spectrum, all right? And what I do know is that my 22-year-old, when he goes out and does his thing, he goes out and he does his thing. I know he has a set group of friends. However, I don't know all his friends. He has lots of friends. I only know a few of them. And I also know that when he goes out there, I would hope that he wouldn't do anything to get himself into any situation or, I tell him all the time, stay in school, don't be no fool, don't say no to drugs, all of that stuff. But the reality is, when they go out there and they're with their friends, they are going to experiment. I would be a monkey's uncle if I thought that wasn't going to happen. You understand what I'm saying? So I just keep hope that my son comes home safely. When my daughters are at home, yes, they're good kids and they stay to themselves. Every now and again, they decide that they want to go to the mall. They may be going to meet somebody at the mall. They may not tell me that they're going to meet somebody at the mall. They may have set it up and just say, hey, Mom, we're going to go to the mall. And what am I going to say? No, you ain't going to the mall. No, I'm not going to be a helicopter parent. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, yeah, our kids are good. They just make dumb decisions a lot of times. And they're expected to because they're kids. And a lot of times when they make those dumb decisions, and not just them, we make dumb decisions as adults too. Damn, why did I make that left turn, man? Oh my gosh, how did I end up in this situation? I'm pretty sure that a lot of people that wake up dead said to themselves, dang, if I should have just did this. If I had to just did X, Y, and Z. If I had to just stayed home. If I had to not changed lanes. You understand what I'm saying? It happens. It happens. So, I understand that a lot of times we want someone to blame and we need somebody to blame in order for us to feel okay about the situation, because we want somebody to be held accountable for what has happened or what has taken place. Yes, that lady was out of line. If she was loaded, what if she was loaded and they was in there just so high and the boy walked out and they was just too high to go out there and check on him, or really was oblivious to the fact that he had actually even left. Maybe they thought he went to the bathroom or something, or maybe he said he was going outside just to get some air, and then before they know it, a couple hours passed because they were so loaded that they didn't even notice that the boy was gone. Maybe they was just like, oh, maybe he called a ride or something like that. Maybe they tried to call his phone and he didn't answer the phone. We don't know. But let's not just say, oh, we can't just say, oh, they did something to him. Yes, we can hold her accountable because she was the last one that was with him. But if he got up and walked and left on his own accord, or if he did get high and have a bad trip or something like that, and he walked out into that sugar cane just to get some air and then fell off in that ditch, maybe hit his head or was incapacitated and couldn't move or get his face up out of that puddle or something like that. Now, maybe he was in that house and he had a bad trip, and maybe he passed out in that house and they might have thought he was dead or something, and they wanted to distance himself as much as possible, and they said, man, go take him out there and just throw him in that ditch right there. Nobody you know. And maybe he drowned that way. Who knows? We don't know. We don't know. But just because I say that I think that he probably did get high does not mean that I am insinuating by any means that he was just because he was a black kid doesn't mean that he was used to getting himself in trouble. That had absolutely nothing to do with it. It has to do with kids being kids. And typically when kids are with their friends, they will experiment or try some things. When I tried weed, I was with my friend. When I tried drink, I was with my friend. When I tried X, I was with my friend. Period. And I did a lot of things, but to my parents, I was a good kid. We watch stuff like this all the time on the first 48 hours. That kid was the one he was a good kid, but he was the one who got caught up in the smoke while he was in the process trying to rob somebody. A lot of times what the parent knows, the kid that the parent knows, a lot of times sometimes can be different from the kid that the friend knows. And sometimes the parents may think that their child may be doing something, but just not have proof, or may not want to accept it as that. A lot of times we don't want our children to be seen in a bad light. It doesn't make the child bad. It just means that they may have done something that just was not as favorable as we would like it to have been. And maybe she did not share that there maybe he was rising up or something at some point that was part of the reason why he moved with his dad, at that time. So what I do want to say is, listen, I am very clear with what I'm saying. I'm very clear with my words. I don't want anyone to ever take my words. Don't get my words twisted, and don't twist my words. Okay? I'm very clear. So, yes, this is something for y'all to think about. The mom's response was just a little bit too lackluster for me. I do understand that people grieve differently and they deal with things differently, but I'm just saying, if you want to find out information, this lady is calling to give you information. This is your time to dig as deep as you possibly can and get all up in her area code and all up in her head space to figure some things out for your baby. Okay? And anybody who is accountable, make sure that they being held accountable. Okay? And again, when kids are with their friends, kids do things that we may not think that they otherwise would do. Not every kid is a kid who just blatantly does things in the parents' face, like, I don't give a damn, I'm about to go get high, smoking in the room and all of that weird stuff. Not every kid is that way. Some kids definitely do respect their parents and honor their parents. And so when they go outside the house, they take that little bit of time. All right, well, my dad is at the store. He ain't going to call me I told him I was going to a game, even though I'm not going to go to the game today. I'm going to go over here to the homie's house and I'm about to smoke me some weed. And then by the time I leave from here, the game should last, a couple hours or something. I should be able to sober up a little bit before I go home. That's the real. So, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm saying. A lot of times stuff like that comes out in the wash. Does it it doesn't mean that he's a bad kid, though. It just means that this may have been something, a decision or a choice that he made that cost him his life. And even just going and getting in that car with them was a decision that ultimately cost him his life that day. you know. But if he wasn't getting high and he was sitting in that house and then people was in there tripping, I would be texting somebody like, hey, they in here tripping, they are so high, oh my daddy, come and get me, oh my gosh, somebody come and get me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he didn't. Maybe he stayed to himself because he really didn't know that many people over there. He just moved over there with his dad. He knew that boy from his old hometown where he stayed at with his mom. That lady has a lengthy criminal history and also has a history of losing her children. So we know she's not a good parent. Did he know that? We don't know. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know. You know, maybe that's why he wanted to go with her, because she's kind of, maybe she's like the, you know, the party mom, the kicking mom, the anything goes mom. We don't know. You know, he hadn't lived there long enough, and then let us not. I mean, and of course, all of this is happening during Corona. I guess they're open. Their schools and stuff is open in football games. I guess they back in school and doing all of that regular stuff. Here in Cali, it is not going down. Nobody's in school, so we distant learning. We're distance learning out here. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm just saying, like, a lot of times our kids be doing things that we really don't know. We really don't have any clue. We really don't have an idea, or we might have suspected. I remember going to my auntie's house one time, and my auntie didn't realize that her daughter was sitting over there high as a kite. Or maybe she did know, but she just didn't acknowledge it and just wanted to just dismiss it. But I was like, Ashanti, are you high? And she eating all the snacks. I couldn't believe that I was sitting there seeing this and her mama was acting like she didn't see it. You know? So I'm just saying, like, don't come with the foolishness, okay? Open your mind, open your heart. I know we want somebody to blame, but we really have to look at this all the way around. You know, from all angles, all aspects. Leave no stone unturned. And question everything. Gotta go.